Trump's amazing executive orders and the Lake and Riley Act now being signed into law, they are not going without some pushback from the Democrats. And of course, the pushback is just in so many corners, racist, elitist, classist, right? This is where they go every time. Like, who is going to mow my lawn? That's truly, every time you hear them going with that line of argument.
Correct.
That brings me to Democratic strategist Jenna Arnold on a CNN panel with Scott Jennings in SOT 29.
I think they ought to be put on notice. And you got to play by the rule. Everybody has to play by the rule.
I don't want to hear that they're doing work that no one else will do. Talk to guys in the building trades, plumbers, contractors,
picking strawberries.
These building trades guys are being hurt.
I can't
by
wait.
Labor that shouldn't be here.
I can't wait until American women can't get blueberries for their smoothies. I cannot wait until there is a full crackdown on all small businesses, as if that's going to be the solution to the immigration problem. It is just going to put immigration-related issues further into the darker corners.
Oh my God. I can't wait until American women get blueberries for their smoothies.
Do they teach you to talk like that at Wellesley? Is there like a course where you have to like raise the octave of your voice?
But you also have to sound like a Valley girl from 1987. Then you know you're nailing it. I will tell you that my team said that this person reminded them of somebody who they thought I was going to want to see, and they teed something up for us, Charlie, which it's blacked out on my soundbite list because they wanted it to be a surprise. So let's see what they have in store for us. Who do they think this reminds us of?
Yeah, you have to work harder. Like,
yes!
Megyn, you should work harder. Why don't you have a makeup line? You don't do enough. All girls should work. Like, I work. When I go to the makeup company, I point to the color I like, and then they put my name on it.
That is Kyle Dunnigan as Kim Kardashian. 100%. People need to work like I do when I choose between tan and white. Your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, look, of course, to your original point, this is what they want mass migration to be. They want it to be the service class of the oligarchy. There are two reasons why they want open borders. Is they want to make sure that the Hedges and the Hamptons are pruned to their liking for the lowest possible wage imaginable, and then they want a ton of voters that keep them in power. That's it. It's never about enriching their lives or helping the American middle class. It is two things. It's the service class for the ruling class, and then these people are going to vote for us. And of course, she goes right at it. And it is this old trope. It's like, well, who's going to pick your lettuce, and who's going to pick your strawberries, and who's going to pick your blueberries? But not a single person can answer a more fundamental question, which is that we are quickly going towards mass adoption of artificial intelligence. We are quickly going towards the merging of advanced robotics and artificial intelligence. So that means that more people are going to be out of work, not less. So therefore, if more people are going to be out of work and we're going to kind of have an employment, not crisis, but a little employment hiccup that is very similar to how we transitioned from the agrarian-based society to the Industrial Revolution, shouldn't it be the perfect time to press pause on mass migration? Shouldn't we probably not have as many people coming into the country because we're going to have a lot of job displacement? And this is not some sort of theoretical. When polled, over half of Fortune 100 companies say that they plan serious layoffs in the coming years because AI is going to replace those workers. Now, that is high tech work, but also we're going to see this in the manual trades as robotics starts to get put in place. So it begs the question, why is it they want all these people in the country? Oh, it's for permanent political power. It's not for blueberries. It's for the midterm elections.
And this smoothie. We saw some of this on display at Karoline Leavitt, who's the new press secretary. She's doing a great job. She's out there being
great.
just as combative as the media deserves. She's not being unnecessarily combative. They come in there with hatred for her, Trump, his supporters, and his agenda, and she is responding appropriately to a group of people who not only hate her and him, but are working actively to undermine him and while masquerading as objective journalists. Here she is on the subject of these illegals in a White House press briefing on Tuesday, SOT 27.
The 3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office. Can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
You may have pinpointed the worst first. They all have a criminal record?
And welcome to the briefing
If they
room.
broke our nation's laws, yes, they are criminal.
What do you make of what's happening in the White House briefing room these days, Charlie?
Well, as someone who's 31, looking at someone who's 27 be press secretary, I think is phenomenal. And it just goes to show how awful the media is. They have not given her even a little iota of credit that someone in their late 20s can take on the entire Washington press corps.
With a young
That's
baby?
a remarkable thing. Yes. I mean, imagine if Joe Biden put some sort of 27-year-old up there. It would be the darling beyond darlings. It would be Vogue magazine. It would be front page of the New York Times. It would be Meet the Press. It'd be the 60 Minutes interview. So I hope that's not lost on people. That's a 27-year-old taking on the entire Washington press corps. And for everyone out there that has kids in their 20s, I mean, you should use that as an example. Like, this is someone who has a child who's taking on the entire Washington press corps, the defendant administration that the media hates. That's someone worth kind of looking up to, not Dylan Mulvaney.
Abigail Finan, you got to get the girls watching Karoline Leavitt. Keep going, Charlie.
Yeah, no, but you think about it, it's like, okay, the media says Dylan Mulvaney, hero, Karoline Leavitt, clown. And you just think about who we elevate as heroes and villains. It's so backwards. So I think she's doing a great job. In fact, we've known her a while at Turning Point. We endorsed her when she wanted to run, when she was running for Congress in New Hampshire. She's had a great career ascension. And it's really interesting. She was kind of Kayleigh McEnany's number 2. So she was in the building working and saw it and probably has been practicing for her entire, last couple of years. So it's just great to see. And I thought she was adequately prepared. I thought she was incredibly sharp. I thought her answers were perfect. And I got to give her credit. That answer right there is spot on. That is more moral clarity than you would expect from any Senate Republican, which is exactly right, by the way. Definitionally, you being in the United States illegally is a crime. Yeah. Entering the United States is a crime. And what she did is so smart. You reject the premise. They're all criminals, actually. By the way, if you don't like that, then go to Congress and change the law. You don't get to choose which laws you like and don't like. The executive branch follows what Congress has passed. Congress passed that it's illegal to come into the country and stay in the country without invite, without to sneak in, to border jump. And so by definition, they are all breaking the law. And I think Karoline has just done a remarkable job.
Absolutely right. And when I see her, I can tell she's young, but I see somebody who's going to be a massive threat as this job goes forward, right? Because if she's this good, her first week on the job, they're going to have their hands full when she's been doing it for 2 years. So I hope it lasts because she does have a young baby, and that's a very demanding job. I see like the press releases come out the night of the plane crash. It's like very, very difficult to have a little babe and do that job. Hats off to her, wishing her nothing but success and goodness in this role. Before we get away from illegal immigration, listen to this Al Jazeera journalist trying to justify why it's going to be very tough for these countries of origin to take back their illegals. Like, they really just need to be allowed to stay in the United States because I guess we're bigger and we can handle them better. Watch.
Mexico cannot cope. Not sure any country can, but Mexico can't cope with like a sudden influx of millions of people. I mean, as much as she wants to embrace them, to use her word, when they come back and make them feel welcome, it all sounds very nice when you're listening to it, but the reality of that is just completely unsustainable.
That is an Al Jazeera journalist saying Mexico cannot handle the influx of their own citizens being returned to them, Charlie.
Yeah, and just I want everyone to understand this, which is that the Haitian government said something similar, where they said if we return Haitians back to Haiti, it would destabilize their country. Oh, that's the point, actually. So if you can't even accept your own people, we're not talking, again, I would sympathize with the argument totally, by the way, if we were sending like Nicaraguans to Mexico or Mexicans to Nicaragua. Totally get that, right? Like another country should not be forced to take other people's people. But that's the point, isn't it? Yeah. We're actually being forced to take other people's people, right? And so and everyone will be like, oh yeah, of course you shouldn't send Brazilians to Honduras or Hondurans to El Salvador. And so, but this goes down to the entire dichotomy that we're in, this binary way of looking at things, where the Biden administration looked as if we've done such evil as a country. The way that we repay all of this, all of our guilt, is by becoming the world's dumping ground. There's nothing we can do about it. You guys can come here, and that we must just kind of absorb you. Where we have a view, say, wait a second, no. If you're not invited into a place, you're not welcome into that place. And if Mexicans' own people is going to destabilize their country, then what exactly does that say about it? And that's about the people that actually are coming back. And secondly, let's just look at the Colombian example. President Trump did a masterclass on the whole Colombia situation over the weekend. I mean, it was like 10 out of 10, A++. It was incredible. But if the Colombian government was even flirting with the idea of wrecking their entire economy over a couple dozen illegal migrants, what does that tell you about the couple dozen illegal migrants? Like, who are these people? Why are they willing to put up such a fight?
How bad
the
are they?
answer is they don't want them back. And so if they don't want them back, that should be... Yes, but I mean, like at the same time, that should be more confidence for us to expel them from our country in an orderly
right. Well,
and
my take
way
on it is now Trump says he's going to be sending them down to Gitmo. Great. Let's see if these countries of origin object. Right? You may get countries like Colombia, which are like, fine, great, keep them at Gitmo. The point is, get them out of the United States. They shouldn't be our problem. Clarifying what I said, that wasn't an Al Jazeera journalist. It was a PBS special correspondent named Julia Galeano Rios on Al Jazeera's podcast called The Take. We continue to face uncertainty when it comes to the economy, with a perfect storm brewing as Social Security and Medicare hit a breaking point as the largest generation is hitting retirement. A smaller workforce means a smaller tax base. You pair that with our growing national debt and the rising cost of living, and we could have a very big problem on our hands. So what are you doing right now to protect your family for the future? Gold can be a very safe haven in very hard economic times, and Birch Gold makes it easy to diversify a portion of your savings into physical gold. Birch Gold will help you transition an existing IRA or 401k in whole or in part into an IRA in gold. And it won't cost you one penny, not one, out of pocket. Protect your future today. Text MK to 989898 and get your free info kit on gold and a copy of The Ultimate Guide for Gold in the Trump Era with a foreword by Donald Trump Jr. There's no obligation, just information. Birch Gold has earned the trust of countless Americans looking to safeguard their savings. Text my initials, MK, to the number 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.